you know what time it is. The belt is out. The RSG Tourney Challenge is up. We gotta know who's gonna do it. I wonder if somebody's gonna be like my sister last year. She called her shot. She called me, said, she told me she was getting in it. She said, I'm gonna win. It's like, no, you're not. Guess who won? I had to send her the belt. So if y'all haven't gotten to the RSD Tourney Challenge, go check us out, Real Sports Guys. We got it there at the top of the page on our Facebook page. It's on all our social media platforms. I'll be pushing it out again. We'll have it in the link here as part of the description. You can get in. The way it works here is you got to beat us. You got to beat the Real Sports Guys. If three of us take the top three spots, then it just roll over to next year. See, now we add coach. Now we add coach to it, so now we know we got y'all. So if you get one of the top three spots, you get it. If not, if we occupy all three of those spots, then those prizes just roll over to next year. They just roll over. I'm gonna give y'all the Matumbo figure. But the last couple years, somebody took the belt home. My boy Bob O'Brada took the belt home the first year, and then my sister. She didn't let me down. Now she in Hawaii chilling out at a professional conference with the belt probably. She's with the belt. So it's up and running. It just tells us March Madness is off and going. We're gonna have a good show. We're gonna go with it. Have a good time here. I'm here with my guys. Let me bring them on in. My man Darnell Kirkland Jr. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm good as always. Ready for this tournament to start. Ready to get to it.
Yeah.
Already started.
Yes. It's already up and rolling. And then we got the coach, Coach Cecil. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great this time of year. This is hype time. That's what I plan my vacations around.
I know. I used to plan the Thursday and Friday off was like my personal holiday. So
right.
Sometimes at your job they give you your leave time. They'll give you a certain number of personal holidays. These days are the personal holidays.
Right.
That's what I know. That Thursday and Friday. My man Hamp, Southside. What's up, man?
Southside. I'm doing well. Yeah. So yeah, looking forward to the tournament. Obviously, looking forward. It's a great time. It's frenetic, and it's gonna be while I'm being in New Orleans during the Final Four, so that'll be interesting.
Well, hey, I'm excited about this. This is like there's so much going on. I guess I want to begin with kind of like just the general college season for both women and men, and just either one. Were there some trends? What did you notice about this year as you was watching? What kind of popped up this year as something that just kind of like either on the women's side or the men's side that you noticed about college basketball this year? I'll start with you, Carl.
Stars are back. You had again Clark in Iowa, Reese, and so that you saw some of the same stars with UConn, their cast, as well as Zach Edey. So I think that continuity as far as stars go. I think that's the main thing. You had really dominance by two clubs, UConn and South Carolina. So I think that's where you kind of saw basically I won't say status quo, but a familiarity with the scene, not something new that's come on the scene. So I think that's the thing that continuity, I'd say, is a big thing about both ladies and the men.
Darnell, would you notice overall?
Okay. Yeah, so I saw them going in different directions, right? So I saw in the women's game we saw the stars, right? They have star power. Like he already said, Angel Reese. We have Caitlin Clark. Malaysia, full Wiley at South Carolina. You got Hannah Hidalgo up at Notre Dame. You had Juju Watkins up at USC. You got stars, right? And then on the men's side, I think the big theme of that is parity, right?
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot of the big teams they go down. Nobody's safe. Like we didn't have a dominant team like South Carolina this year in the men's league. These UConn caught some losses. Houston caught some losses. We thought Kansas was going to be really good. They caught some losses. There wasn't like one team that really stood out. There's a lot more parity.
Yeah, I feel you're right on something. I'm probably going to spin that same thing, Coach. What are some of the things you noticed?
Well, first of all, on the mid side, that can't trust it list has actually added a few more participants.
I'm telling you, the can't trust it season.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that it's been a can't trust it season, kind of along with Darnell and some unfamiliar people in that space too that you think are going to be pretty good, but are definitely on the can't trust the list. I know we're going to get to that later. Um, I think, like you say, I've heard more stars on the women's side. I think that's a really good observation.
Mhm.
As Darnell went down the list of people, I was thinking the same thing. The point guard at USC, the point guard at Notre Dame, South Carolina. But then you got, because South Carolina has not just a star but a rocket in the horizon with that freshman that they've got playing, who's bringing all the attention. And so. And that star power on the women's side is going to carry it too. That's what's going to make the tournament so interesting. Is that any time they can go off, anytime one of those players can go off, and they don't just go off; they add a lot to their teams. On the men's side, I think I saw more teams. There's some names over there for sure, but you see Kentucky starting to play well. You see UConn is in a groove, and that's the one thing I noticed through the tournament is you're able to see the teams play that execute the best. And those are the ones that seem to be, even though there were some losses late, I still think Houston's a beast, even though they took a beat down. And so I think you see more team oriented. And also, to Darnell's point, this is anybody's game, even though, there's some people that rise to me, but this tournament for the men is anybody's bet, depending on what night it is and depending on who can knock down threes.
Yeah, I think I just want to add a little bit on top. I think y'all all hit the point. Yeah, I love the framing of this, Darnell. You put like parity on the men's side. I mean, you have Arizona beating being swept by Washington State. You got Arizona beating Oregon by 20, and then 3 weeks later losing them to in the tournament. You got Purdue losing to Northwestern, Nebraska, and Ohio State. Right, Ohio State's. I just watched them. They're sitting in the NIT. Right, and Nebraska's good, but are they should they be like it's so you just when you think you got it, Houston will blow you out, but then they'll lose by 20 or 30, and it's like you can't get a handle on it, and part of it is some of it's the volatility that comes along on the men's side, really being amplified with the transfer portal and how some of these teams are being built and coming together. I think you have these teams where like these mid majors with the old souls and and kind of going, and then you got these teams that are put together. But the one thing that you see with like a team like UConn and the teams that go is like the coaches who are just dogged about the philosophy. They are going. Their team might stumble, but they're not relenting. You're going to play a certain way. You can see that with UConn. You can see that with certain teams. Even though they might stumble, there's a commitment to the way they're going to play, and they play a style that when the lights come on, it might seem to come together. On the women's side, it's not just the stars; it's that the freshman stars. And y'all
Mm-hmm.
mentioned a couple of them. I mean, it's like the youth movement. Juju Watkins, Hannah Hidalgo. Y'all talk about Fu Wiley, who is like clowning on them. You got Michaela Williams, who's also a freshman who plays for Texas, who started out who's an off ball 2 guard swing, had to play point when the starting point guard got hurt for Texas and still balling. It's like these youngins who are just playing at this high level, along with the other established stars, just making that game, so much exciting. And so it's going to be great to kind of see how these things unfold. The thing about it is nothing else. You know, March Madness is March Madness. On the men's side, you're going to get some of them shining moments happening. On the women's side, they tend to be chalk. And like we've been talking about the women's game on this platform for since the beginning. And one of the things I said, like early on when we were talking, when it was dominated by a few teams, it felt like the men's game in the '70s, and now it feels like the men's game when the Big East came on board, when there was all these different teams, right? That energy, remember that? You had Pearl Washington, you had all these young cats coming in, setting the game up, and it feels like it's moving into that range where its talent is coming from all over the place right now in the women's game. And so it's good to see this evolution of it, but the youth movement is clear. And the thing about it, they're going to be around. Unless they change the rules, these cats are going to be around. These women are going to be around, and you're going to be able to count on, which I think is going to be great for the women's college game, and hopefully that leads into the WNBA. So we're going to start with, I'm a Queen Latifah fan. Queen Latifah is one of my favorite MCs. Ladies first is always, every time I come on, I feel like, I don't know why I get excited about it, but Queen Latifah is it. So we're going to start in honor of Queen Latifah. We're going to talk about the women first. And so we're going to start out with the final four picks. And since I set the table, do y'all want me to go first, or do y'all want to go first? What you want to do? How you want to roll? You want me to go first?
Yeah, I got mine ready, but you can go first.
I'll go first. So in the final
You
four,
go first.
I got Stanford against South Carolina. Obviously, I mean, South Carolina, Achilles heel last year was shooting the three. Now they're third in the nation in 3-point shooting. And a part of that is when they got Tahina Pow. I'm gonna get it, Tahina Pow, who
Yeah,
is
so he was
she can flat out shoot. But also the rest of those players have brought together their shooting, their improved shooting. I mean, y'all remember I said that last year. I was like, how can Don have no 3-point shooters? Y'all remember I was critical. I love Don Staley. I know Don Staley all the way back in Virginia, but I'm like, you cannot be as good as y'all get. Y'all can't shoot no threes. She corrected that this year. Their team's got that balance, and I think as long as they're on their game, they got the depth. They're going to be all right. Stanford's pretty interesting. Stanford's up front. They got Brink up front, who can Cameron Brink, and then Kiki. The post players, they play off each other. They're gonna have to get some help from the others, but them two together, defense and offense, are gonna cause problems. So I see, I see Stanford making that run. And on the other side, I got LSU against UConn, and LSU, with all the stars, I'm not going to talk about the stars. The reason why I think they're going to be there is they finally starting to do the one thing Kim Mulkey wanted to do, start playing defense. They finally starting to do something on that end of the court, and playing a little bit defense, playing tougher. They can score. They got the folks on the offensive score, but they're playing that defense. And then I got UConn. People must have forgot, even though they got the injuries. Paige is back. The one hiccup they might have is against Ohio State. Ohio State put them in the blender. Ohio State put that press on them, and they couldn't handle that press. But Paige is back. I think between Paige and Edwards and the freshmen, and Gino's coaching, I think they get through that bracket to face LSU. So notice I didn't have Iowa, which I'd probably going to be something that somebody else has. All right, Carl, I'll
yeah.
go to you, Carl. Oh, Darnell, I'll go to you. Then
No,
Carl.
it's funny because I should have went first because you had the exact same Final Four that I had. I was looking at my Final Four. I'm like, he reading my bracket. But yeah, I had the exact same Final Four as South Carolina. Their work, it needs no explanation. They're undefeated, great defensive team. They have a great freshman point guard in Full Wiley. They do what they do. And like you said, Stanford, they play the inside-out game. But when they do that, they're going to run into some problems against South Carolina because Cardoso, she is not playing around down there. She is a great defender on the inside, and I think they're going to run into some problems. But on the other side, I had the exact same matchup on the other side too with UConn. Paige Becker. She is back. She can ball now, and going up against LSU with Angel Reese and the crew. But yeah, that's going to be a great game. But yeah, that's my four.
All right. We'll go Carl, and then we'll end up with Coach.
Yeah, got a Final Four. South Carolina, just elite defensively, as you said, too. D. Wills shooting the three, which makes them even more lethal. While they're undefeated. Repeat Cardozo's bad. They got, so I definitely, they're my one team. Then Stanford with Brink, great inside team. So yeah, my alma mater loves some Stanford. So definitely see them. On the other side, I got one of your teams and don't have one of your teams. I got LSU for all you talk about. Great balance in scoring with Reese and great defense as well. As Duo said, they've really turned up the defense in the year, which you need to do to win a title or get to the Final Four. And then USC, definitely is my fourth team, not UConn. Yeah. So.
USC is a good pick because I mean one of the things they figured out in the Pac-12 tournament is that they could win without Juju scoring a lot, and
Hmm.
and they didn't have to wait to the tournament to learn that. They figured that out. That's I was kind of leaning towards them because they could put it up with anybody,
Mhm.
and so that Carl, that's still a good pick.
About what kind of worries me about that is they remind me a little bit of remember Oklahoma State when Cade Cunningham was there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it was like I can see him taking him there, but at the same time, if he has an off game, what can happen. Like you said, they're starting to pick it up a little bit around her, but still going against UConn, going against some of these teams, I don't know if they can necessarily keep up if Juju isn't at her best.
yeah. I mean, yeah, that's always the question in the tournament: how you gonna respond with those
But
lights
she's
come
great
on?
though. Yeah,
Oh,
I want
definitely.
to give her credit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She put a 50 piece on you. Uh, for real. That's Stanford. Uh, Coach, what are your thoughts? Final four.
um, well, I'll start there since we left off there. I had debates about USC too. There's only one thing that I heard in passing though is that um, USC was starting to become more dangerous because Juju was doing more, wasn't concentrating on scoring a little bit,
Yeah,
moving the ball. But what that says to me too is if a team decides to lock her up, then what do they do? If a
yeah,
team decides to face guard her, if the team decides to just take her out, maybe give her points, but don't let her get assists, what happens with them? And how does she respond to that? Because I think a team did that and it gave them some problems. I can't remember which team they were talking about that did that to him and gave him some problems. And I think that's what she's going to be up against. I got Ohio State instead of UConn, and that hurt my heart because I'm a UConn fan from way back in the day, and I just think Ohio State, and I like this. Ohio State's physical. I
yeah,
mean, they're physical. They press you. Um,
yeah,
they play like they're mad. you
yes,
know, and watch it. UConn still got that flow. Paige is back for sure, which I had forgotten about. To be
yeah,
real, and then I saw them playing, but Ohio State's got that swag that I think you need this time of the year, and just are physical, and I think they're out to prove something. I think they want to prove that they belong there and that they're elite, and so I kind of, as much as it was hard to do, I went with them over UConn, and then had them go to the Final Four. LSU rematch with Iowa. I can't wait to see that one. Have Iowa and them getting in that rematch, but I think LSU is going to come out on top for all the reasons you all talked about. And again, for all her flaws and everything she does do, Mulkey's good. She gets people up for big games. She gets people up for things like this, although she ran her mouth too much after that whole incident that happened before.
yeah,
Uh,
yep,
yeah, she got dramatic there and ran her mouth too much, but she does get them up. Angela's scary to me right now because she's got a good frame of mind about what's going on.
yeah,
She wants to win a national championship, and I always thought if she dialed it in, they would be tough, And I think she dialed in more than she ever has been. So I got LSU, Carolina, of course. Love Dawn Staley, love what they're doing. They fixed some issues that they have. Now they got Cardoso who thinks she can shoot three, so who knows what's going to happen. But they're legit. They got shooters. They got people who get to the rim, and they play nasty. I mean, that's just Dawn. So, and she's a great coach. And Stanford, of course, can't doubt Tara Vanderveer. Woman
mhm,
can coach, and she's
mhm.
got those two studs inside that are just. Oddly enough, as skinny as they look, and they're
Yeah.
pretty physical.
Physical. They blocked some shots.
They surprise you how hard they play, and they're smart. It's a typical Terra team, and they've been together a long time. So that's mine: Stanford, Carolina, LSU, and Ohio State.
All right. The USC point, I was trying to think about, because I was like, okay, Mackenzie Forbes, like, who had 26 in the finals. She stepped up throughout that tournament and kind of helped balance some things out with Juju. But I think where Darnell said, I think in these big games, when you start getting into it, you're gonna need her points and you're gonna need Juju's offense to be able to get you through some of this. So they got to find a way to get that. So USC seems to be the outlier that we got in Ohio State are some dogs in the in terms of the way that they get after it. They gonna pressure you, and they gonna get in your face. I love the way they play as well. So we got some good teams. So the finals, who we got? Uh, Darnell, since I know where you probably gonna go. I'll let you go. But I always had my introduction to my finals, but I'll leave it alone. I'll let you go, Darnell.
All right, so my finals is South Carolina versus LSU. Um,
Papa Doc and B Rabbit.
another rematch. So you want me to talk about the finals or just say who I had? You want me
You
to
go
want
ahead. You
to
go ahead and talk about it and who you
Yeah.
think will come out on top.
All right. So Angel Reese said at the end of the last game, we're not scared of South Carolina, but hey, the film determined. I think that might be a lot. I think they got South Carolina problems. I think they're gonna be in trouble. And I got Don Staley finishing off this perfect season with with another championship.
Yeah, man. I love the way you put that, Coach. Who you got? Who you got?
Hey, we don't get too far away. I got South Carolina and LSU in the final. And I just think Dawn is on a mission.
Yeah.
I think she was upset that they got away from him last year. And I always felt too that it's hard to go undefeated through a season. And that's why it hasn't happened very, very often. And when you get caught up, kind of like last year, you get caught when you go undefeated and get into a tournament because it's just looming over you. The best thing outside of a loss to Tennessee was Cardoso hitting that three because it woke them up, told them that we can't lose.
Yeah.
And so that way you're almost going into it with a loss, but you're going into it with a scare that wakes you up that Dawn can use and talk to him about. And like I said, I just can't get away from her and her and her Gucci. So I think that they're going to win it again this year.
All right, Hammer.
Well, again, great minds think alike. So I have all SEC final. Like we have two SEC teams, I have two SEC teams and two Pac-12 teams going to the Final Four. But no, definitely think they're on a mission. Like D. Will said, the three was the missing piece. Now they shooting the three. That's why they're lethal, man. And so that's why I just see where LSU is not going to happen this year. They're going to get to the final game, but Angel and her crew are going to go down. So, and then hopefully they're going to be fighting. So, please go.
Yeah, and that's I have the same thing, and I think the difference is the way the teams got put together too. There's a lot more connective tissue with South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I think LSU is talented, and I would say LSU's talent. You could make an argument they got more talent. They don't have connective tissue. The talent South Carolina got is not only talent, but they fit into their role slots and they know how they fit. Whereas it feels like LSU is still discovering, still trying to figure it out, and they on TikTok. They finally took them a while to realize this is new business, and
Yeah.
they trying to get it going. But I tell you what, if these two teams face, woo, the ratings gonna be off the hook. Like I wasn't lying when I was talking, like that scene from 8 Mile, Papa Doc and B Rabbit and the crowd going, "What? It's gonna be a showdown." We just gotta make sure your girl's brother is not there. I know he's
He's not going to be allowed. He's not going to be allowed to be there.
he might not get in. But he'll sneak in. We
We
resourceful
ain't
now,
getting in.
Darnell.
We ain't getting
He'll have a disguise on. He gonna find a way.
He ain't getting
He gonna,
in. He gets in. A lot of security will get fired.
man, I'm telling you, man.
Well, they ain't gonna give that brother they ain't gonna give him a ticket near the court.
He don't want no ticket to the court. He jumped over and looked at Cardozo and said, I don't know if I'm gonna mess with her. She doesn't look like she about to put you in the vice. But both of them are competitive. But I think Don is on a mission. You can see it.
Yeah.
It's one of the missions they connected. And they after it. And it was almost like the way Caitlin did them hit deep. Because Caitlin did them like was at the park. Went deep. And you can tell they walked to that court like not again, and they carrying that stuff all the way through. So it's going to be a great one. It starts this week Friday, man, and it's going to be. I mean, the ratings on this for this tournament is going. I got to believe is going to be off the chain, and so I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna get to the men's side of it. Woo! All right, y'all.
I just got one thing I
Yep.
read today just about the women's thing, which
Yep.
tells you how crazy and off the chain things have gotten. ESPN has assigned a crew to follow Caitlin Clark through the tournament.
Yes.
They've assigned people, took them off the games, and assigned the crew to just do footage and everything with Caitlin Clark through the tournament.
Man.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. We're gonna see how this. It feels like women's college basketball is to men is becoming like women's tennis to men's tennis. We all know the women's when they started taking over, everybody knew it was hard to figure out who the men, but the women dominated tennis for so long and everything else. It feels like it's swinging that way. I don't know. It feels weird in that way, but it feels like that's happening, and so I'm excited about this. Excited to see what these players are going to do and do. The thing about the women's game is much more predictable in the early rounds. I think there's very few upsets below certain ranks. But on the men's side, boy, it's one shining moment. On the men's side, we got the can't trust it list. On the men's side, we got a lot going on, y'all, in these streets. And I want to say, so as you look at this, is there a 4 seed or higher, meaning going up towards the double digits, that y'all think can make some noise in this tournament that that people aren't really thinking about? Look, Hammer up there smiling. What you got, Hammer?
No, I have. I think Texas is going to make a run. They've underachieved all year. They're solid as far as Brother A. Smith. You're going to learn how to pronounce his name. They be saying Abnus, and they be saying all this mess, and Brother Dessou. And I just think that again they've underachieved all year, and the team that was early part of the year, I think it's really real Texas, and you're going to see that. I think I am going all the way to the final game and losing, but I got them as my my Cinderella special.
All right, Darnell.
Hey, I can see NC State. Yeah, NC State, the 11th seed. I can see them making a run. They hot right now.
The big gravy down in the post.
They got
Big
a
fellas.
D-man,
Nobody
DJ
won none of them.
Burns. I used to always think what would happen if I was 6'9". And yeah, if I was 6'9", I would be looking to him just like DJ Burns.
Burns for the work.
Big brother, man.
But yeah, I can see them making a run at it.
All right.
Not necessarily Final Four like Carl talking about, but they can win a couple games.
Yeah. Coach Cease, who do you have?
Well, I'm with Darnell with NC State. They just look good. You know, they look like they're just getting their stride. And I don't know exactly where Iowa State sits. Where's Iowa State?
They're number 2.
Yeah, they ain't no.
They're not going to surprise anybody. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, every NC State was hard for me to not go even further than what I had them because I just liked how they've been playing, so I have to go with that.
Mine's gonna feel like it's a homer, man. I had a couple teams, but I'm gonna say Wisconsin. Wisconsin, they went from being ranked 6th in the country at one point about a month ago to not being ranked. They've been all over the place. But I always said, and I've been saying this. I was talking to Coach Cecil about this. I think I was in Carl's ear. We've been at the games. I'm like, if Chucky Hepburn can figure out, just start playing, he gonna unlock the key. And in the semifinals, he had 22 points against Purdue. And in the finals, he had 20 points against Illinois. He began to get into offense. I think Crawl and some of these other guys will get in. AJ Storr will do his thing. I think they got some players off the bench that can give them something. But their team, when they get going, they got some players who can put it together. And I look at some of the teams they're playing, they can get some folks a tough
Hey,
game, they kind of awkward.
They ain't getting past James Madison, bro.
there's a
Oh,
reason.
they gonna beat
There's
James
a
Madison.
reason why you said
Thank
fourth
you.
season
Thank
up.
you,
They ain't
Hammer.
getting past James Madison. Even in the run, they ain't
Can't trust them.
playing consistent defense.
Can't trust them.
You look at the Illinois game, they blew a 10-point lead because they stopped playing defense. They stopped getting in Brother Shannon's grill.
Thank you. Can't trust them.
They're not consistent defensively, man. So I hope
Hey,
you're right.
it's my team. I'll put it out. I looked at the whole. I got some other teams. I looked at that and I was like,
I don't see it, bro.
I got a feeling, man. They gonna make a run.
I'm
Not a
glad
deep run.
they didn't get beat
I
first.
said they'll get to the next weekend.
Hey, Devon, how long ago did I tell you guys that?
Yeah, all
You
y'all
said
gonna
it.
go.
Oh, you said
championship.
see?
They said championship.
I said they could make a run at the championship.
He did.
Who?
They got the
Wisconsin?
squad.
But
They
my
said
thing
They're
is,
championship. They're gonna be FBI agents.
Hey.
that matchup with Houston is going to be a tough matchup.
It's gonna be
I
tough.
think they have a formula where they could possibly get it
past
done.
James
That's
Madison, bro.
shooting
James
big.
Madison is no
But
joke.
at the
James
same
Madison.
time, I can also see that trap. I think that pressure can get to him as well. So
Yeah. And they played against Houston up before a couple years ago. Beat them.
couple years, it's a completely different team.
I know it's different, but
Completely different.
but Houston
They
up
don't
and
have
down.
to
Houston's up and down themselves. You know, Kelvin, he might end up on that can't trust it list. All right. Well, we're here with it. The can't trust it list. We can't even get into it. Who's on that can't trust it list for you? Well, this year, who's not on it? I guess we're going to just.
Right?
I guess it's everyone. But I'll give you 3 teams that you think, in the way it works for you first timers, these are people that you know folks going to have in the Final Four. They might have them in the final game. They might have a championship in it. You know it's going to cost somebody their mortgage. You just know. Historic teams, Kansas has done that to folks. Arizona is perennial. It don't matter who coaching them. They will take your wallet. They'll take your lunch money. We got teams, but this year it seems like there's more on the list. So I'll start with you, Coach. Who you got on the can't trust it list? Who you got? Your fellow coaches, because you are. It feels like you're snitching on them.
Yeah, right. I mean, it could go down the cast of usual, like you say. Kansas could get bumped in the first game.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense, but they could get bumped in the first game. Again, you know how that hurts me to say that, but they could be gone. I kept fighting, saying Arizona looks good. Caleb Love is playing his ass off, but I got to put him on the list.
I don't put them so deep in my tournament, but they on the can't trust the list. They are setting us all up. This is a perfect Arizona thing. This is perfect. They set you up. They luring everybody in.
Yep. And the other one that is on the list, and even at that, I got them going further than I should have them going, and that's Purdue.
Yeah.
They've proved for the last 3-4 years that you can't trust them.
Yeah.
You know, just plain and simple. And the other one, even though people have jumped on the bandwagon, it might not be one that a lot of people, and that's Kentucky.
Yeah.
A lot of clamor about Kentucky. They have been looking better. They have been playing better, but can't trust them.
Can't trust Calipari. Calipari take your money, man. Calipari will take your money. You take your money. I'm just watching this classic with Wisconsin and Kentucky. That was when they was undefeated. I looked at that team they had. I'm like, he had Cat, he had Booker, he had Lyles, he had. I'm like, that. I mean, he had a starting lineup for the
NBA. That was the year. Yeah, that was the year they did the 2 platoon thing. That was my first year of college, so I remember. That was when Kentucky, they went undefeated, just like South Carolina was this year. They were undefeated the entire year until the national championship game.
So and Frank the Tank did work on
it. I can't really call it a can't trust it. See, if you win every game except for the national championship, is that really can't trust it, or you just lost?
Yeah, but they've lost before when they had good teams. They should have been in.
Yeah. I'm not saying he can't trust it as a.
No, I hear you.
I'm just saying that 1 year.
Yeah, but I'm saying as many NBA players he should have a few more titles. Should be a little bit deeper. He got more early exits than he should have with that much talent. I give you that. Hammer, who you got on the can't trust it list?
I got Marquette.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think Marquette's going down. I don't think Kolik's ready. This is the same team that got smoked by Wisconsin in the crib. So I don't trust Marquette. A lot of my Milwaukee Cats this weekend, they probably will let me get back to the city again. But they going down. Man. I don't like Marquette. Kansas coach already talked about that. Kansas already got McCullough's out. Dickinson's probably out. Yeah, if they were in there, they'd be out. They just except for one aberration of winning their chokers. So, and then I got Alabama definitely going down. They're going to wish the board trustees of Alabama wish they didn't give Byrne and Oates those extensions because they're going to be mad in Tuscaloosa after they lose in the first round. So that's why I see definitely is my can't trust it teams. College of Charleston is going to be on the map, going to be national. That's my can't trust it list.
All right. I mean, I had all the good ones. I mean, Arizona's in here. I mean, Houston, man. You can't. Houston's got what? Did they about 20 in the championship?
Wait,
Like,
what?
They're 30, 40,
did they get
41,
Iowa State by
41.
20?
They got
40, oh, yeah.
dropped by 30.
Yeah, about
30?
30, yeah.
I mean, they just, man, I don't know,
Sometimes
man.
you have bad days, bro.
Man, I don't know, man. I don't trust Houston, man. Houston,
Sometimes you have
Kelvin
bad
Sampson,
days,
man, he
bro.
coming up on that. He coming up. Get your hand out my pocket, Kelvin. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know. Houston's one that got you. Arizona obviously is on this one. Purdue, to me, straight line drivers. I told you that, coach, when we was out there. I'm like, man, they if you take them out of their offense early and you make Edie work late, like quickly, and they get out of their rhythm. And too many of these other teams that they're going to be facing can make them do that. I think they might have a problem if they face Creighton because Creighton's got a big who can
That's who I
make
got
you
them
work.
losing to.
Yeah,
From
Creighton's
my
got a big who can make them work. And so, and man, and I had a great conversation with Coach. And man, I mean, I'll tell you, you remember I walked out there like, dang, feeling a certain kind of way. But man, we at that moment of truth, and I got to get in UNC. They up there, Carolina.
Yeah.
you know, uh, Carolina should be on that list. You know, they don't. They just sometimes they just don't give effort. You can see Davis is like coach is like going crazy. Sometimes they just aren't locked in, and you figure out how did they, if RJ ain't hitting, so Carolina's one I can't trust. Um, did I get everybody?
No, I didn't go.
Darnell, who you got, Darnell?
Well, first and foremost, I got to say Kentucky because Kentucky they have the most talent in the whole field, but they
That's right.
can't guard nobody. They can't guard nobody, and they can beat anybody and they can lose to anybody, and that is the recipe to be on
Mm-hmm.
the busted list. Number two, I got Purdue. Um, I think at the end of the day, all it takes is um, an officiating crew that's going to swallow the whistle, and another team that's going to be super physical. And I think they'll be in trouble. And then my third can't trusted team is Kansas for all the reason Carl already said. Kevin McCullough's already out. Dickinson is hurt. I think his shoulder came out of socket in the tournament. So yeah, I think they're due for an early exit.
Yeah, and coach already said they weren't deep. He said he was good 1 through 4. He told the truth, and
That was
and they still
prophetic.
haven't
That
figured
was
out.
prophetic as all get out and he didn't get. The thing about it is, I'm glad you talk about my team for a minute. Is that they never got better.
No.
Matter of fact, he lost 2 cats off the team, which another thing he was prophetic about only in the other direction was, remember the question I asked him about the portal and how that was going to affect his coaching and he thought it was going to be great because now he could go out and get these great players and bring them in and work with them. I asked him that question for a reason because I always saw Kansas as a team and Bill Self as a person that liked to develop people.
Yeah.
And develop them in the style he wanted them to play. Hunter Dickerson to me never fit.
No.
he just never fit mentality wise.
Yeah.
He didn't fit from a hard toughness mentality of it at
Nope.
all. He just never fit, and he became a distraction to
Yeah.
me, and as opposed to people that are formed and shaped by self. And I think he was looking for the Cadillac way to do it, because long term, I don't think he's going to be here much longer. I think that heart attack and everything's kind of pushed him down too. But yeah, I think he was prophetic in the one way, in the fact his bench never came around. You know, he still 1 through 4, maybe 1 through 3, the way they were playing. You know, and he get no help from the bench. And like I said, I never thought Dickerson fit with his style or the way they like to play anyway. So.
Well, I felt that when Dickerson went there. I was like, man, he just, and I kept saying he don't play with no energy. Like, he
No,
put numbers up, but he ain't really add nothing else. Didn't feel
no.
like the leadership, none of that stuff to their squad. So I just felt like, man, their team just was always. I watched them, I was like, this look a little off. All right, y'all. So we're gonna get down to your Elite Eight, and mine is switching and going as we speak. So, who wants to offer their Elite Eight?
I can go if you want me to.
Okay, go ahead. I know Hammer ready. That's that
I
Stanford.
got was it UConn and Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
I got Houston, Kentucky. And I got NC, Arizona, and Purdue, Texas. That's my final 8.
Okay. Okay.
I'll go.
Okay.
Unless you got some commentary, not too different from
Nah.
you, but
What were some observations that y'all made about his selections? Give it again, Hammer. One more time.
Oh, I got it was UConn, Iowa State, come out east, then Houston, Kentucky, and then I have Purdue, Texas, and then North Carolina, Arizona.
Well, he got a lot of can't trusters in that one, boy.
Other than Texas, pretty chalk. So I can't.
Yes,
I don't have too much to say about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of can't trust. You either gonna win big or you gonna lose big. I can say that. Boy, Hammer, we might only have 2 spots left with Hammer. He might be too far down. We need some help. Somebody taking home the belt. That's he up there like Billis and them going chalk. All right,
yes.
all right, Coach. You want to go?
Yeah. I'm gonna start over. I've got Connecticut and Iowa State, and I think that game's gonna be a battle. I got North Carolina, but I got Baylor. I could put Baylor on the can't trust it list, but
yeah.
But I think Drew does a good. I mean, he does a good job, and Baylor can play when they want to, and so I got them working their way through because I just don't trust Arizona. My distrust for them goes deep.
Yeah.
I got Houston, and I told you I liked NC State, so I got NC State on that other line. I see them coming out because they're dogs, and so I have them coming out of that other side, and then I've got Purdue, and then I went with Tennessee. I'm hoping Dalton Connect will carry him like everybody's predicting, and that Barnes he'll be able to coach him through it. So, yeah. So that's what I got.
Wow. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. I got a little mixture that I don't quite. I think I might be the one who's probably got the craziest looking Elite Eight. So we'll see.
Oh, so you ain't see mine yet, though. But
Okay.
Yeah, you can go.
Let me go. I'll let you go last. So I got UConn against Illinois.
Ooh.
I just think you got to have a star, and they got a star, and he can go for 40. And at first, I was like, I remember watching him when he was first starting this program at Illinois at Maui, and they looked like a younger version of like the Knicks. They couldn't score. early on, Knicks, and they would just foul the hell out of you. Now they got some offense. They play defense. They get hard at you. I think he finally is Underwood's found his team, and he got a star. It's in Shannon Jr. who could flat out play, and you need a guy who can go get buckets. But he got other players can come with it. And I just think when I look at their way there, I think they've had their struggles, but I think this might be the year they make their run, and so it'll be UConn against Illinois. Uh, I got St. Mary's. I've been on them from the beginning. St. Mary's against Arizona. I know Arizona. I know I had to take one. Can't trust the team. They got a lot of talent. This might change by Thursday. It might change, but right now it's St. Mary's. I think St. Mary's, they like to defend. They own their conference. They get after it. And I don't think their conference has got enough respect. But those guys play. They can get after it. They can defend. And I think you got to be able to win ugly. And I think they know how to win ugly. Every once in a while, you got to just be able to get through it. They can grind. And so I will go with that. Um, I got. Let me make sure I'm in my right column here. Oh shoot, I did go crazy on this one. I was about to say I was like I had to check it again because now y'all know what my madness is. I got Wisconsin against Kentucky. Um, like I said, there's got to be somebody gonna make a run. I think they'll make a run. I think they'll run into Kentucky. Kentucky will have too much for them at that point. But I think Wisconsin. Uh, I think their style is going to pose some problems for teams up there. I think Kentucky, as much as they got my can't trust it. I think the Marquette injury with Kolick makes me nervous, and I think
Mhm.
Kentucky at full strength. And the one thing Coach told me about Marquette, if you have a team that's kind of as athletic and long, that'll give a team like Marquette. I remember you telling me that. That'll give a team like Marquette. And I see Kentucky as that kind of team that they're gonna master athleticism, and it feels like they got some size. I'm a little nervous that Darnell said they can't defend. I think they'll defend enough.
I'll say, and both their guards is like 6'1".
Yeah,
So
yeah, but they got some size in the front.
yeah,
All
they
right.
do.
Yeah. So, and then Gonzaga in Tennessee. I think the Zags, other than St. Mary's getting their number, they've been strong down the stretch quietly. But I said that's more about their division. I think both those teams, I think, are underranked. I think Gonzaga by the fact they just had some rough periods. St. Mary's, I think, just doesn't get the respect. But I think the Zags, I think they can match. They've seen Purdue already. Those teams have seen them. Um, Kansas ain't gonna have enough this time around. Um, I think they can come out of that side. I think they get up against Tennessee, and Tennessee some rough riders, so they'll play Tennessee. So that's my
Did you
lead
say?
eight. Huh?
Did you say Dayton?
Tennessee.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Dayton. I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Yeah. Dalton Connect's in
Oh
his bag, but
yeah.
they got more than Dalton Connect. But
Oh
he's gonna be
yeah.
in his bag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
All,
all right,
all right.
Darnell.
Yeah. So my Elite Eight, I have UConn versus Illinois, just like you do.
Mm.
That's gonna be a game right
That's
there.
gonna be a game. That's gonna be a test.
Yeah, like just like you, I think I'm a little higher on Illinois than everybody else is.
Yeah.
They're a real talented team. They're deep as well.
Yeah.
Um, my next game in the Elite Eight is North Carolina versus Clemson.
Mm.
You know,
Ooh,
yeah,
Clemson.
yeah,
Clemson.
I'm gonna go a little Michael Jackson off the wall on my
Ooh.
my next game in the Elite Eight. I have Houston versus NC State,
Mm.
and my last game is Gonzaga versus Creighton.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was about to bring a couple of my other sheets. I have Creighton. I was about to. I might end up changing that one back to Creighton. I just got a feeling about Creighton. They got three great players, and that's why I wish Nimhart would have stayed with them. If he would have
Mhm.
stayed, they would have
I'll say
been even
I
more of a
will say,
problem.
this game is gonna make them think like, man, what if I stay? What if
I
I had
know.
stayed? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I'm a. That might end up making that change. I've been going back and forth with Creighton, man. I think people, especially in a tournament setting, when you have three cats like that who they have, who can go off, and they got a big man who never fouls out. He just knows how to play. That's a tough one. That's a good pick, man. All right, your final four. Hammer.
Yep, I got my final four. Got UConn, NC, Houston, Texas. Pretty much chalk except for that, yeah.
Rock, chalk, hammer, chalk. He going. He said he ain't gonna step outside the line. He
No, I
said.
Exactly.
just don't
He
see.
said.
I just don't see
He
my
said
head.
when there's chaos, when there's
Yeah.
chaos, I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm gonna keep it simple. But those are good. I mean, they can play that way. Ain't nobody gonna back it with this thing. I mean, those are good picks. All
Yeah, I
right.
can be wrong, you know.
Okay. Okay.
I
All
ain't got
right.
16 up in there like some
Trust Bob,
people.
Bob Cocker,
I
whatever his
ain't
name
picking
is.
about jerseys or whatever, you know. So yeah.
Okay. 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 All right, Coach. Who you got the final four?
We got Connecticut, North Carolina, Houston, and Purdue.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Ooh, that
Really?
time spent in Maui got you
Good
going.
face. Good face.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, the Vaughn, you brought up some good points about Purdue, but like I said earlier, and that's why I like UConn too. I like the teams that know how they have to play
Yep.
and play that way.
Yep. Yep.
And do it consistently
Yep.
all the time, regardless of what's going on and or how it's happening. And then, like I said, if you're able to take them out of it, then yeah, it's problematic for them. But that's why I see in North Carolina starting to get in a groove too. But that's why I still went with Purdue, because they just have a system, and Painter said that over and over again. They have their system, and people have to pick and choose how they pick their plays and how they're going to play them.
Yep. Yep. I'm with you on that one. So my final four, I got UConn against Arizona. I think that's going to be a barn burner. Coming off the Illinois UConn game, that's going to be a game. Arizona going to have a little scare with St. Mary's, but they're going to find a way. Love going to give them some love, but then that's going to be a matchup. And there's going to be some athletes in that game, in that Arizona UConn game. Then I got Kentucky against Tennessee in the finals, and I think that's going to be a physical game. These are teams that know each other. But I think a star will be born out of one of these guys. Whoever comes out, it's going to be. I think I'm going against all my instinct in this one. We get to the championship, but I'm going to roll with it. It might not be what shows up on Thursday if I sleep on it, but this is where I'm at right now. All right, Darnell.
All right. So I'm pulling up again. Yep. So in that first game, I had UConn versus Illinois. I see Illinois coming out with that one.
Oh,
They have a lot of offensive firepower, and honestly, I see Coleman Hawkins being able to stretch Clingan out and bring him out to that 3-point line, and I think that can cause some problems for that UConn defense. The next game, in that North Carolina versus Clemson game, I got North Carolina advancing. North Carolina led by the senior Armando Baycott. They got a nice young point guard, Elliot Cadeau. RJ Davis gonna give you some buckets. I think they have a really good team. I think they have a really balanced team. Everybody knows their roles and stuff. So I think with good veteran leadership, I see North Carolina advancing. The next game, Houston versus NC State. NC State are some dogs. They had a good run, but their run comes to an end in this game versus Houston. Houston, they turn up that pressure, and NC State is going to struggle with that. So I got Houston advancing. The last game, Gonzaga versus Creighton, is going to be a high octane basketball game. But at the end of the day, I see Creighton, led by Kalkbrenner, coming out with that.
man, I love that
So
Creighton team.
yeah, Illinois, Carolina, Houston, and Creighton.
You know you from Michigan. Illinois. Ain't no Illinois. Illinois.
Illinois. So I'm from
Illinois.
Ypsilanti.
Illinois. You ain't saying Michigan.
All right.
Illinois.
So we got the championship rounds. I'll jump in,
Yeah,
and I'm not sure if this is gonna be it by Thursday, but I'll go with it. It's going. I got UConn against Kentucky, and I got UConn cutting down the Nets.
You got
You know, I
Kentucky
just
in the championship game.
uh,
Interesting.
um, sometimes Calipari in these years you think he don't do it. He put that spice in there somehow. He does something. He puts something in their back, and they just kind of figure it all out. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with this by the time I get it, but this is where I'm at right now. UConn, I just know. I think in all this craziness, they're the beacon of light.
Mm.
They're consistent. The standard is the standard. uh, Hurley, they all buy in. He has a philosophy that is around toughness, and they can win any way you want to play. Any way you want to do it, they can do it. And they're confident they can do it anyway. And he's prepared them to be able to do it anyway. So they're going to be meeting all these challenges, and I think he'll be cutting down the nets. All right, Carl.
man, I got UConn beating North Carolina, and I got Houston losing to Texas, upset, and I got a Texas UConn final, and UConn cuts down the Nets for the second year.
All right, Coach.
I've got you heard my final four. I got Houston beating Purdue, and then I've got Connecticut beating NC or North Carolina, and I got Connecticut taking care of business. It's interesting. I was listening to a couple of people talk, a couple of podcasts, and it's been universal. You see the region, and you've already talked about it too. The region that that Connecticut's coming out of, they set them brothers up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
got four
set them up
champions
with
in
winners of
the same
the
bracket.
conference tournament.
Yeah, same champion.
Three of the top leagues trying to get out of there. And like they said, all you're going to do is fuel the fire for Connecticut.
Yeah.
That's just going to make them nastier. That's going to make them meaner. That's going to give them more of a mission-oriented mentality. All you did was, in doing that, in stacking the deck, was just play into what Hurley likes to do, and that is we're the underdogs. Nobody believes in us, so let's go out there and make them and prove it to them.
That's right.
And I wholeheartedly believe that, because even after he won the national championship, he took that, we got work to do. I mean, he took that, we're not quite there attitude. So, I got them taking care of business in the championship.
All right, Darnell.
So, all right. So my national championship game is Illinois. Did I say that right? Illinois.
Illinois.
Illinois. I got Illinois versus Houston, and this game is a tough one for me. But at the end of the day, I think I got Houston coming out with it. So that's where I'm going. Man, that's a tough one.
All right. Wow. We got some good stuff. We'll have to try to post these Final Fours. You have to send me that stuff so I can. I'll post your stuff. Yeah. Send it to me. I'll give you 24 hours if you're going to make some adjustments. And we can read.
Mine are my picks. I'm standing by my picks.
Right. The conference championship game was a rough game, but over the last stretch of the season, I think Houston showed me enough as far as them being able to shoot the ball from the outside and put points on the board. To pair that up with their defense, Emmanuel Sharp, he's been shooting the ball well. You had LJ Cryer, he's been shooting the ball well. You got Damian Dunn coming off the bench, he can score. Jamal said he's running the show at the point guard. And I talked about Juwan Robinson on our last show. He's shown himself to be a nice little post player. So I think they will have, at the end of the day, have enough offense. But yeah, man, Illinois is kind of scary me. They got some stars. Well, they have a star, but they have a lot of scoring.
They have a lot of scoring. And so, I want to end, we always talk about, you always end the tournament one shining moment. There's always a star born. Like, last year we had some stars emerge out of here. Is there someone that you think that folks don't quite have a grasp of that they're going to learn a lot about as a star in this tournament? Is there someone that sticks out for anyone?
Well, for my pick is brother Asmus, definitely. There's a cat that was at Oral Roberts, took him a nice Sweet 16 run, Cinderella run. I think that definitely going to take Texas to a nice run. So I think he's going to be the people's champ, basically. 6 foot, short guy, but again, someone that you look at. Yeah, that's what I see.
All right, who you got, Darnell?
So I talked about him earlier this season. Keisei Tominaga from Nebraska.
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 A flamethrower. I think not a whole lot of people know his name, but when the eyes are on him, they're gonna fall in love with him.
All right. You anyone, coach, at all?
Well, Darnell kind of stole mine because
You can go ahead and talk about him too. I mean, that kid
no,
right
I
there.
mean
I thought he's gonna be a popular one, especially if they make any kind of run.
I mean, he's a game changer too,
Mm-hmm.
and he's one of those that you don't even suspect. He doesn't even look like he belongs out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To be honest with you, he don't even look like he belongs out
He's
there.
like one of those guys who said CCRB.
Yeah.
And then he pump fake step backs and drop ones on you, and then he's cocky about it. but also I still think somebody that's underappreciated, but I think it showed up when he got hurt during the tournament is Smith from Purdue. I think if they get as far as I think they will, that there'll be a whole different respect for him, because he, as much as Edie is this, that, and the other thing, they go as Smith goes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think more people get to see that, they'll realize that how important he is, especially when he's shooting well and when he's 100%. Because I don't think he was. I'm not making any excuses for what happened to Purdue, but I don't think he was 100%. But
yeah.
But he's the other one.
Yeah.
But definitely the young fellow from Nebraska. Like I said, I first time I saw him, I thought, why is he out there? And then he dropped 3 threes, and I was like, oh, okay,
Makes sense.
yeah.
Makes sense. It because we just started the show off by just talking about a lot of the names when you're still like the women's side has emerged all the names, and there's not many of the men on the men's side that people know. I mean, Zach Edey is someone that stands out.
Well,
People know because what?
I was gonna say that's because they have to stay. Because
Yeah.
I say this every time we had this conversation. Can you imagine if Chet Holmgren and Jalen Suggs were still at Gonzaga?
Yeah.
Like stuff like that would happen. If they had to stay 3 years like it was the NFL.
Yeah.
Like I think Zion would have just been leaving Duke. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it would be a little different.
Yeah,
you're right.
And the reason why I said that is, a person that myself, Darnell, and Coach got to see out Maui, Dalton Connect. This kid can give you 40, give you 30, do it at all 3 levels. And Tennessee's not like we always know it for football, but it's always been recently. It's really been a solid basketball program. Now, one of the things you want to know about Tennessee is to watch their pregame. Coach, does it look like a football practice? I ain't never seen them any kind of physical, like a warm up. I thought somebody might get hurt the way they come out, but this kid has kind of found his way in, and he don't shine on the big stage. Like he lean into the light. It's going to be interesting because he got some opportunity as he works through this bracket to step up. And if they're going to go as deep as I think they're going to go, it's going to be on him. But I don't know all the people who really know him, but the way they should know him.
I mean, he's gone up the charts big time. I mean, he's like top 5 in the draft right now.
Yeah, I mean
I saw him play in Wisconsin. He's a special player, man. He's got great bounce. He's got great body. He's a good defender as well. I mean, thinking that I'm concerned about Tennessee is their lack of depth. That's why I didn't have them going as far. I think they got dogs, but I don't care how good you are. If you only got 5 or 6, good luck.
Yeah.
You gonna
And
lose.
what's the big fella for NC State? Is that Burns or whatever?
Yeah,
DJ
DJ
I'm
Burns.
gonna
He's
tell you right
bad
now, if
buddy.
they go deep, that cat right there, he controls the whole dang game.
Yeah.
Nobody won nothing with him. Baycott, none of them
Yeah,
won
no.
nothing. He
He look like
controlled
tight
that
end,
game.
bro.
They look like the old Memphis Grizzlies. He look like the old Memphis Grizzlies. If they go far, that kid gonna be a star. He just
he,
got it.
he
He
remind
control
me
the whole game, huh?
he remind me of the Escalade. You know, Troy, Troy Jackson, Mark Jackson's little brother.
Yeah.
More in shape version of the Escalade.
Boy, I
Oh my
mean,
God.
he looked like he should be playing at the park, whatever. They can't do nothing with him. Every time I watch him, like Carolina can't do nothing with him. He
No.
just and so if they go deep, he gonna be part of that. He gonna have that. Something about him is gonna be draw you to him. Because I watched him, I was just drawn to him, and he just controlled the game. They just clear the court, let him go. It feel like you watching games at CCRB in Ann Arbor, Summit Park. He just controlling it. Everybody just let him go to work. But if he does, he'll be an interesting character in the run. If NC State goes deep, it's gonna be because he's doing some work on there. Well, fellas, we off and running. We're going to see who's going to win the belt. If you're interested in winning the belt, a real live championship belt, if you really do that, come check us out. RSG Tourney Challenge. You can catch the link on our social media. We'll probably have it here in the description. But come and check us out. This has been great. Hey y'all, we off and running. It's holiday. It's a holiday season for us, and so we'll be tracking this as we go. And I look forward to getting an update next week. We checking in on what happened in the first weekend. There's definitely gonna be some upsets. All of our cards will probably be messed up. Our sheets will be messed up by Tuesday, but we'll love it. We'll love it because there'll be some great stories. So, hey, thank y'all for getting together with me, man. And we're gonna drop the mic. We're gonna give it. We always got to put a little blessing in it before we get out. Anybody want to drop the mic?
Oh yeah, I'll go.
Okay.
I have a very special drop the mic. This past weekend, my younger cousin Makari Moore, he just concluded an excellent season, excellent junior season up at Ann Arbor Huron High School, leading them to a Final Four, leading them up to the Breslin Center. And yesterday he signed. He signed. Well, he committed. He didn't sign. He committed to playing at Iowa State. So that's my drop the mic. Tip my hat to my little cousin Makari Moore. Is an excellent basketball player, 3-star point guard out of Ann Arbor.
Yes. It's always good news when they have bright futures. Love it. Carl, you got one?
It's got to be college basketball, I presume, right?
No, it could be whatever. Yeah, whatever you got. You
No,
know,
I'll go. I'll go.
movie spirits.
No, I'm gonna drop the mic for DePaul basketball. For the past 20 years, it's been a sad thing. There was a team that I grew up with: Mark Aguirre and Rod Strickland and Dallas Comegys, and we had cats from all over the country, and as well as Chicago, coming to DePaul, and we didn't win the chip. We got to Elite Eight, I think, as far as they went, but it's just been a sad time with 0 for 20 in the Big East this year. The brother was supposed to be the great recruiter, got canned, but I hope that Chris Holtzman, I'm not confident. I hope he can bring back DePaul basketball. They got a new stadium in the South Loop. We need to see some hope again. People will look at you like you crazy when you used to say DePaul was a national power. They would think you need to be committed or you need to be drug tested. And that's a I'm telling the truth, D. Wells. That's a sad statement for what it was. We were upset. I was a little kid when Isaiah Thomas went to Indiana instead of DePaul. I could have cried. I couldn't stand Indiana when they won the national championship. But so I hope again, Holtzman, I don't know him that well. I know some shout out to my guy Scotty Meskin, who's an alum of DePaul, said he had the big conference call. And I just hope they come with respectability because 0 out of 20, come on, man. That's just awful. And we're in Chicago. And I don't care what you think. Chicago is a great city, great town. And DePaul was, again, the symbol of Chicago excellence. And now sad it's a symbol of Chicago failure. Another failure people. So bottom line is I hope Holtzman can get it together. He did some good things at Butler, a big market in Indianapolis. Chicago's right. We got cats that it's a great city. We need to sell DePaul basketball again and stop this mess where literally they got a radio contract and the radio announcers are embarrassed to even call games. Got Corzine, one of their top alums, calling the games, and they sound depressed the whole time. Let's try to listen to the game the whole time. So yeah, shout out to DePaul. We need to have DePaul basketball back. We need Chris Holtzman to bring it, and we need them to stop being the laughingstock of the country. Forget the Big Ten. That's why I dropped the mic for DePaul basketball.
We got to bring DePaul back. I'm with you. Dallas Common G's. Come
Which,
on, man. Rod Strickland. Come on, baby. Come on. Get on back in there. Coach, you got one for us.
yeah, I want to drop the mic for the Beloit boys high school basketball team. After a little hiatus, having worked at the school, if you know what's going on in Beloit, things are difficult right now. Not a whole lot to be happy about. We're struggling on some things, but the Beloit boys basketball team went to the state tournament, made a run, beat Madison Memorial, which is always a pleasure to beat them. Had an outstanding season and got a group coming back. And the thing that's big about if you're in Beloit, and it's probably with other areas too, is that as the basketball team goes, the town goes. The sports are huge in the city as far as attitude and just feeling successful. And these boys didn't just galvanize the team; they galvanized the town for a period of time. And people are anxious and excited to see what happens in this next year coming up because they're all young. Write down the name Amari Hereford. This dude is legit. I'm telling you, he is the real deal. He can flat out ball. He's only a sophomore, but just write that name down. And next year, they got to the sectional championship. Next year, they're going to be at the Cole. So I just give it up for them for their hard work. And matter of fact, I saw 3 or 4 of them in the Y going to the weight room, which I had never seen before after the tournament was over. So just want to give them some praise and drop the mic on them for their season and congratulate them for that.
I always want to love when I first got to Beloit. I remember calling back to Michigan, and I said, "Man, Beloit can be like Flint or Saginaw. Like, look at all these players. Like, they all got to go to one high school. Like, there's no reason in the world why this program should not be in the top 3 or 4 in the state. And you should have Coach K and all them coming through this community. You have ballers who are going to one high school. That's a captive market.
Yep.
And so it's good to see the program. It takes a lot for people to get their heads around that. And there's a lot of pockets of talent and communities like that all over the country. And I noticed that from my first time arriving in the community that I was like, this place could be, if they ever got this together, nobody's going to stop it. Because you walk down the street, you can see the talent. And so it's like just getting them all going in one direction is going to be the key. So that's good news for us. I initially was going to go away from basketball because, my Steelers made some moves, and I wanted to throw a shout out to Coach Tomlin and the crew. But I'll come back to basketball because I got to do it. I just gotta say shout out to my one of my favorite coaches. We talked about her today, Don Staley. When I was critical of South Carolina last year when I saw the way they were playing, and I should have been critical of a Hall of Fame coach, but I just felt like it. But to see what this team is doing right now, I'm excited to see what kind of run they're about their business. I want to see what kind of run they're going to go on. Me and Ham was talking about trying to get Don over there at DePaul. We was trying to say, is there any way we can get enough checks over there in Chicago to get her over there? But that would never happen. To happen. But I just want to. I like to see greatness. Same thing on the UConn side with Daddy Hurley. But Don Quilly went back to the board, saw what the weakness was, and she more than corrected it. She overcorrected it, and I'm excited to kind of see her lead her team and see what the outcome is. We're fortunate to have her. We watched her compete as a player, on the Olympics, and now as a coach. At a time when Gino was dominating the field, she came in unapologetic she established herself in South Carolina, and I just like to be on this eve watching what she might do. I'm just excited, looking forward to it, and wishing her well. All right, thank y'all guys. It's always good. This is therapeutic, fellas, just to be together with y'all. It's always good. We're gonna be tracking all this stuff. Somebody's feet gonna get burned up. Get your trash can next to it. It's here. We came up with all kinds of stuff, but by Sunday morning, folks gonna be tossing their stuff out the window. I know it. It's gonna
For
happen.
real.
It's guaranteed. These are 18 to 20, as Dean Smith once said. Well, in some cases, 18 to like 25, 26, 27-year-olds. But as Dean Smith said, he got a shiver down his spine. We looked up and realized his future was dependent on decisions of 18 to 22-year-olds. And this is what we find out what he meant by that. All right, till next time, y'all, take it easy. Thank y'all for joining us here on RSG One Mic. We'll see you, on the other side.
Ready for the day the Lord called on me. Them all decisions, man, they all on me. I can't hear this away from
Hey, yo,
my
Neil.
man, follow
Hey, what's
me.
up?
The near future,
I
man,
got
they
you.
all gon' see.